I promise you've never heard a tale quite like this one. It's one of the most mystifying, unsolved cases in recent years. This story doesn't begin in a bustling city, or even along a well-traveled highway. It starts quietly in a small, idyllic fishing village off the east coast of Canada, a place named Gillam's Cove. Nestled between jagged cliffs and rolling waters, the village is the kind of place where everyone knows each other. But in October 2017, 3 fishermen set off on what should have been an ordinary day at sea and vanished without a trace. Their disappearance has baffled locals and investigators alike for 6 years. Today, we're digging deep into the enigma of the vanished fishermen of Gillam's Cove. Let's start with the basics of the timeline. On October 7th, 2017, 3 fishermen, Jake Morgan, Sam Layton, and Ben Harrington, left the harbour at Gillam's Cove in the early hours of the morning. By all accounts, these were seasoned men of the sea. Jake had been a fisherman for over 25 years. Sam and Ben, both younger, had learned the ropes under Jake's guidance. They were heading out to check their lobster traps, something they had done dozens of times before. The weather was calm. The boat, named the Silver Gull, was in excellent condition, and there was nothing unusual about their departure. By mid-afternoon that same day, the alarm was raised. The Silver Gull was nowhere to be seen, and none of the men were answering their radios. Local search and rescue teams were mobilized immediately, and what followed was one of the most exhaustive search operations ever conducted along that stretch of coast. Yet not one piece of credible evidence was found. No debris, no life vests, no radio signals, nothing. It was as if the boat and its crew had been swallowed whole by the Atlantic Ocean. From here, we delve into the theories, and trust me, they range from the logical to the downright bizarre. The first theory is, of course, centered on nature. Could the boat have capsized due to an unseen underwater current? Marine experts later reviewed data from that day and confirmed that the tide patterns and sea conditions were relatively stable. Still, the ocean is often unpredictable, and it's not unheard of for boats, even experienced crews, to meet their match. However, what puzzled investigators was the lack of any debris. Even in the most catastrophic events, something is usually left behind. A floating piece of wood, a buoy, something. Yet in this case, Gillam's Cove remained eerily silent. Which brings us to Theory 2, foul play. In the weeks before their disappearance, Jake Morgan had reportedly been involved in a heated dispute with another local fisherman over trapping territory. Was this a case of an argument boiling over into something darker? There were whispers in Gillam's Cove of tension among the tight-knit fishing community, but no concrete proof ever emerged. And if someone was involved, how could they have pulled it off without leaving behind any evidence? These questions continue to haunt those who knew the men. Now, warning, things take a turn for the strange when we touch on Theory 3, anomalies and the unexplained. Some locals and even a few investigators haven't ruled out the possibility of something otherworldly. They point to reports of mysterious lights spotted in the sky above Gillam's Cove on the very night the fishermen disappeared. These lights were described as hovering, darting, and in some cases, diving toward the ocean's surface. Eyewitness accounts from that night describe an eerie, almost unnatural glow blanketing the harbour. Could this have been a rare weather phenomenon? Or, as some skeptics have suggested, were UFOs involved? It might sound like a stretch, but such theories gain traction when conventional explanations fail. A fourth theory, gaining attention in recent years, centers on human error and runaway fears. Could the Silver Gull's crew have encountered a technical failure, such as an engine flameout or a navigation error, and abandoned ship without adequate preparation? If so, why weren't there life vests or emergency gear found floating nearby? Experts analyzed the ship's maintenance records and equipment history, and nothing suggested significant mechanical issues. Furthermore, friends and family of the men described them as meticulous about safety. Jake Morgan, in particular, was known to drill his crew regularly on how to handle emergencies. The proof is frustratingly absent, but so is evidence ruling this out. Now, as compelling as these theories are, they all hit the same frustrating wall: a lack of evidence. In cases like this, small details often become big pieces of an unsolvable puzzle. For instance, on the day of their disappearance, a crew from another fishing vessel reported hearing a garbled transmission over their radios. It was only 5 seconds long, and the words were almost unintelligible, but some believe the call came from the Silver Gull. If true, the message could provide clues as to what went wrong. But efforts to authenticate the transmission have so far been inconclusive. As the years passed, the investigation drew in researchers, private detectives, and even paranormal enthusiasts. And yet, the lack of closure continues to take its toll on the families of Jake, Sam, and Ben. Every year, a memorial service is held at the docks of Gillam's Cove. Attendees light candles and say prayers, hoping against hope that someday the truth will emerge. The case is by no means closed. Local authorities recently announced they are considering new underwater drone technology to investigate parts of the seabed that were previously inaccessible. Could this finally bring some answers? Here is where it's your turn, the listener. What do you think happened to the Silver Gull and her crew? Could it have been a tragic accident, foul play, or something far more mysterious? Drop your theories in the comments. They might be more insightful than you realize. As history has proven, sometimes all it takes is one overlooked detail, one fresh perspective, to crack a case wide open. Let the story of Gillam's Cove remind us of humanity's strange relationship with the unknown. The sea, a place of sustenance and livelihood for so many, can also be a realm of untold mysteries and unanswered questions. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into one of the most haunting, unsolved cases in recent memory. And as always, stay curious, stay questioning, and we'll see you next time on another episode of Unsolved Cases Long.